Hey y'all, your girl G here. Welcome back to my channel. What's up? How you doing? It is the weekend and I just watched Love After Lockup slash Love During Lockup. Honestly, you guys, this episode it didn't really have too much either. I think Love During Lockup is really kind of one of those filler seasons before we get into, Life After Lockup, because Life After Lockup and Love After Lockup is really where to be going down. And Love During Lockup be having its mess, but as you can see tonight, like there isn't too much that can go on because the people is locked up. But it's some stuff going on with Kaleigh and Katie, and we'll get to that. But yeah, you guys, I appreciate you for tuning in. Y'all go ahead and hit that like button, drop a like in the collection plate, okay? And make sure you drop down in the comments, okay? Let me know how you feel about the season and each of these couples that we got going on. So let's go ahead and get to the first one, Tia and Rob. All right, y'all. So Tia and Rob, you know what is actually so funny? The fact that it's Tia and Rob for this season, but it was Teeny and Rob for last season. I wonder if they like paid attention to that because it's so crazy. Teeny, Tia. But nonetheless, although this Rob, I won't say he ugly, but he like medium. And like, he got prison build. Like you see him, they like news look like they got straight out of jail. Yeah, he got that look like, oh, he just got out. But my preference would be the other Rob. The other Rob, yes, okay. Teeny's Rob, that's the one, all right. But nonetheless, this Rob, he got out, y'all. He's out on the way home. Him and Tia is already getting it smacking. They get to the hotel, everybody, go to their room and stuff. Tia, she sent her daughter, she's like, nah, you gonna go with them. So they hurry up and get up top. You already know what's going down. But the only thing that half these couples is thinking when they get out of jail is trying to get it in. So, and Tia, she a little thing, little thick little thing, thicker than a snooker. And, she had the titties all propped up in her dress and she wore a sundress, that get the niggas going. And so, I mean, I ain't gonna lie. There's a part of me that was thinking like, I could be a fly on the wall to watch that. Like, I know I'm not the only one. Cause I mean, a lot of y'all be telling me, oh, y'all thought this Rob is cute. Like this Love During Lockup Rob is fine. And I mean, like for me, and is anything, it's his build. His build is what has like his, is really like upping his, his aura for me, is really like how he's built, because it just screams just, manhandle. But yeah, you can't get manhandled by niggas that's gonna give you just grief after, because this is what it's giving. It's giving as the episode of this, as the name of this episode is giving ckmatized. She went in there with Rob. They only got it cracking for like 10-15 minutes because the family came early. He invited them over, so they knocking at the door. And they got to hurry up and, get dressed and get everything back on. And when they finally let the family in, T was just looking at them. She was so pissed off. She was like, ugh, like, y'all asses couldn't wait. And so the family, they already knew what was going on. They adults, they knew what was happening. They shunning her, talking about, you nasty, just nasty. Look at you, just covered in sin. But yeah, so she's hanging out with his family. He goes on the balcony with his brothers. They taking the, my bro home. He finally got the joint. Pictures, got to put it on Facebook. Let everybody know that he back. And this is where the problems happen, because just like his family was asking Tia, it's, well, girl, how you gonna do when he, 2 hours away back in Brooklyn? And this is where this shit's gonna get started, because he's going back to Brooklyn. She done finally got a taste of that Zeke. And so if it's as good as she says it is, then he going home. All she's thinking is he out there fucking other bitches, And Tia, you are absolutely right. He absolutely will be. We know he will be. That's why I always be so confused with these ladies. Like that a man coming home out of the joint, the first thing he's going to do is he's going to be like a dog in heat. He's fucking everything in sight. And Tia's crazy, so only thing for us to do is just sit back and watch, you guys. So she go in the room because she upset. She didn't, got all hot and bothered and only got to she really only got a little taste of Rob. They ain't really get to really have the full experience. And so she want the family to go home, and she lay down in bed like she's like, I'm ready for y'all to leave. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that's on her mind is getting some Zeke. Okay. But yeah, you guys, we go see what happened with them. Moving on. So we have Krystal and Sam. Now, with Krystal and Sam, I honestly couldn't even tell you what really is going on with Krystal. Because at the end of the day, regardless, she gonna be in there. She is given she gonna be locked up for the next 7 years. But she is being a just kind of just being a real straight up bitch to Sam, if you ask me. And it's like, girl, I get it, you locked up, and I ain't necessarily the fondest of Sam, but I can recognize that he is doing a lot. As far as the people that we've seen on, the Love After Lockup franchise of people who, obviously send a bunch of money or whatever, like, you or help people, like he's not only helping you in prison, he's also helping your grandma, so that is a lot. But when it comes to these two, the only thing that really happened with them is she's basically icing Sam out. He ended up not going to a visit that he originally told her that he was gonna go to, didn't show up, and now she's basically not talking to him and she's being pissed off. So he goes over to talk to Krystal grandma and really just kind of vents of just like, the last week she's kind of just really been acting weird. It really just can't be, because like at the end of the day, you want to go, I know, I get it, you want me to visit you, but I had worked 24 hours, and then working 24 hours and getting on the road for 6 hours after that to drive is just not smart, nor is it, healthy. And so I get where Sam is coming from, where he's like, dang, like I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't. Like, I hate that I missed it, and you want to be upset, but it's also a visit for me too. Like I also missed out on seeing you. So, the grandma, she just kind of like, well, I think maybe she had planned some stuff for you. And when you didn't show up, that it just, kind of obviously blew those plans. And so Sammy's like, Sam took a little jab at Krystal. I noticed it. I was like, damn, Sam. So he basically was like, I really wish Krystal would work on, just like having grace or just like forgiveness. It's really just ironic that you can't extend unto me, being that you're a convict. It's basically like, girl, you a convict and you can't even give me no sense of forgiveness. How crazy is that? I said, well, touche, my nigga, touche. So yeah, he's just getting pissed off at Krystal because it's just like, he's like, I'm dealing with a lot. I'm not only affording a lifestyle that you want, because girl, if I don't go to work, I know you gonna have to pick one. You got to pick a struggle. It's gonna either be you don't see me as much, but you got commissary, you got all the luxuries, or I can see you all the time, and then your ass gonna be starving, and you're gonna have to be bumming ramen noodles, and sanitary pads from the other women. So you gonna have to pick a struggle, Miss Krystal. And so Sam is absolutely right in the way that he feels. So on the way home, he calls her and just was like, who is this? And she's like, I'm wondering the same thing, because who is this? I don't really know who you are. And then this kind of, she kind of doing that thing that a lot of people do, where it's like something happens, and so you start picking a fight with the other person to not really have to talk about the issue at hand. Because allegedly, her ex, well, sort of kind of ex, her gay for stay ex, Brittany, who was once released, ended up back in jail. So now she back. And obviously Sam is feeling a certain kind of way because, one, he didn't know until the grandma told him. And two, Krystal and Brittany, basically they was scissor sisters. Long story short. And so it's like he feeling like, just because it's a woman, like I would still feel a sense of betrayal, if she was in there with Krystal and doing stuff and not telling me. So yeah, Miss Krystal, you picking a fight with Sam, but Sam has more reason to be upset at you, if you ask me. But let's go ahead and move on. We got Ami and Will's, not Ami and Will. God dang, what's the girl's name? MJ. Well, Ami's involved. So MJ, you guys, she is back in Utah, helping her mom because she unfortunately is sick. And she's visiting, and guess who gives a call? Ring, ring, ring. It's Ami on the phone. And MJ, she's all giddy and stuff, and he's, oh, I know you wanted to hear from me. I know you want to see me. And she was like, what? How you feel that way? He's like, because I can feel it through the phone. And it was just like, oh my God, like it's giving. Well, in the back of his mind, he's thinking, shoot, last time she came down here, she effed up. She came over here next to me, and we got the fucking, okay. So let me call her again since she down here and see if she gonna make the same mistake. And so she's all giddy with him on the phone, and he's like, oh, she's like, I came down here to see my family. Like, I didn't even come down to see you. And he was like, man, girl, you gonna see your family, but I bet I find you. Shoot, he's like, I'm gonna find you while you down here. And she's all, ha ha, whatever. And she hang up the phone. And so she was just like, yo, like, this man really just called me. And she's like, in the back of my head, I'm thinking, in her little confessional, she was like, the back of my mind, I'm thinking like, girl, why did you pick that phone up? Why did you pick that phone up? And it's like, you picked the phone up because you still kind of love him. Like, you were with that man for 13 years. And so you can tell that she's struggling between picking Ami and Will. And so she actually gets to her house and just really kind of breaks down because she's like, I got my mom and my family talking about Ami, but I'm with Will right now, and I really do love him and want to marry him. And, I'm just thinking about all the people I'm going to hurt and this and that. And so, oh, girl, break down. She actually ends up calling her brother over to really just kind of get some advice from him in regards to the situation. Her and her brother really have a close relationship. And they're just sitting there kind of talking about, he's asking like, girl, what do you plan on doing? And she's like, well, I'm with Will. Like, I want to marry him, be with him. And he's like, but what if Will, gets out and doesn't hold up his end of the bargain? He's like, you gonna go back to Ami? She was like, no. He was like, bitch, yeah, you are. And so MJ's not realizing, like, with Ami, her thing was he had a problem with drinking. And, when she wanted to get better and, not drink and stuff like that, he would steady get drunk in front of her and still, bring alcohol around her. And it's not that, like, if you're a person who decides to stop drinking, it doesn't mean you can't be around other people who drink. But, having somebody who is a difference between like drinking around somebody, but then being like a negative influence. Like if you're constantly putting drinks in them and saying like, girl, you can drink this, or like, hey, you can drink this, or like, constantly taunting them with it. Or if you're super drunk, going and messing with them. She was like, that's how Ami was. And then, those were the parts of him that I did love. And so, it is one of those situations that a lot of women feel themselves in of like, oh, he has such good sides, and then you ignore all the shit that you're going through with him because you want to pay attention to, oh, but when he's not like that, when he's not that other person, like he's so this and he's so nice and he's who he's, used to be. And it's like, that can't be how you think with these niggas. You got to stay out of, the fairy tale of, lollipops and gumdrops with these dudes. And so MJ is kind of like, well, like, am I using Willie, to feel better? Because she and Willie really just kind of trauma bonded. They both were going through a divorce and, were basically a listening ear for each other. And she's like, in the famous words of Mike Epps, true, we got to wrap it, and that's how it happened. And it possibly is a chance that she could be doing that. I think MJ could be just entertaining herself with MJ right now because she doesn't really want to be alone. And actually work on her issues. A lot of people do that where they just distract themselves with dating people. There are a lot of people who literally cannot go out in the world and not be single. Like, it's really got to suck to have a mentality of not even, being by yourself. Like, what? Like, you got to always be in a relationship. You can't not be by yourself. I could not imagine that. But yeah, you guys, she was just with her brother and they were talking about that. I'm trying to think if I missed anything else with them because it really wasn't a lot. I think she called Willie. Oh yeah, she called Willie and basically was talking to him about, being in Utah. Of course, she missed her brother and stuff and her, second guessing getting married. And he's like, she was like, I would love to be in Utah because my family. And he was like, I get it. You can be around your family, but why Utah? Because in his mind, he just thinking like, I just don't want you around Ami because the last time you was around Ami, you fucked him, okay? And so we not finna have that again. And so he's basically telling her like, you need to make up your mind because first, you want to marry me. Now it's like you kind of want to slow it down and not do that. It's like, girl, pick one, okay? But yeah, that was all that was going on with MJ, Willie, and Ami. What you guys think? Do y'all feel like she really likes Willie and wants to be with Willie, or she's only with Willie for the meantime just to keep herself entertained? And do you think if things go south with Willie, she'll go running back to Ami? And Ami ain't shit either, too, because when Ami was on the phone with MJ talking about, oh, we could link up, go to lunch, and he's like, well, why can't we do this or that? And she was like, because you're in a relationship, I'm in a relationship. And so to hear that he was in a relationship, but then you talking about, oh, bye baby, calling her baby on the phone, like, Ami ain't shit. Like, and then MJ, for you to know that he got a girl, like, and he try to entertain you and really be sneaky, that should be all the more reason why you shouldn't get back with his ass either. But I digress. Let's move on. So Jakeema and Donnie, this kind of wasn't really too much. Jakeema, she is out trying to enjoy herself, get her mind off of all the shit that's going on with Donnie. So she goes to a cute little dance class. I really do enjoy when I, see women who just kind of get out their comfort zone and do like dance classes or pole classes. Cause that's something a lot of women do, just try to get their sexy back to just like so they go to a pole class to also work out as well. But she was enjoying herself until she got the phone call from Donnie. And this is where Jakeema got to start asking questions. Okay, I got a question for you and I already know the answer. And all the answers that Donnie was giving Jakeema, to me, was giving lies on lies on lies. He would like vaguely answer the question. So Jakeema's like, what's going on, Donnie? Like, where you at? And he's like, well, I think I'm at a place called like Nailco, something like that. It's something like that. And she was like, okay, and where is that? I think it's about 3 hours. It's almost 3 hours. Over 3 hours. He said it's almost three. That means it's over three. Okay. And so she was like, what happened? Like, how did you end up over there? And he was like, oh, they just moved me. I don't know what's going on because, I ain't been doing nothing. She was like, well, why is my name attached to stuff? Not only is it, my name, it's my Cashapp. And Donnie, he's trying to say, he doesn't know why because it's rent money. Like, he sends you money through Cash App. And, to him, it's like they can't sit there and prove that it was from, if he was selling, drugs in the facility. If they see you getting, 500, 600, $1,000 on Cash App, then, they'll take that and try to attach it to the drugs, that he was selling in jail. And so, he want to sit there and play this, oh, I would never put you in that situation. I wouldn't do that to you. The producers asked him, were you procuring drugs in the facility? And he was like, no, I was not doing anything illegal. He ain't answered the question. No, I was not doing anything illegal. And basically he's like, but I can't say too much because I'm on a recorded line. And so he reveals to her, because he is 3 hours away. So she's like, what does that mean? Like, what does that mean for your sentence? And basically he was like, I could get potentially, not my release. And so she's like, so what would that mean? Like, how much time, if you don't get your early release, what would be the rest of your time? And he's like, 2 years. And so she's like, what you expect me to do? Wait? And he was like, I would love you to. And that's what niggas really do feel like a woman is like owes them their time. And, when dudes be so confused, like why women are, constantly talking about how dirty dudes is because y'all take the most expensive thing. And that is time. Y'all drag women through the mud and through a whole bunch of stuff. And including the money, just financially, but time and effort, you don't get that shit back. And so to really be like, oh, I would love you to wait 2 more years, like that's how they expect women to put their lives on hold for them. Another 2 years with a twin pair of sons. And this is why I be getting so upset, when women be trying to like put their kids in a situation, because it's like, yeah, you trying to make it like make this man obligated to these kids. But if he F up and don't do what he's supposed to do, now look at the situation in. Your son just called him daddy. And Jakeema, you honestly don't even know what you're truly in for, because Donny let the producers know, I don't want to tell Jakeema the whole story yet. So he dragging you along. That's what it's giving. He dragging you along because he know what's happening. He know why they switch prisons for him, and why your name is attached to the Cashapp, and they got you on papers in black and white ink, girl. It's time for you to run, run, run. All right, moving on. Okay, lastly, you guys, we got Kate, Hunter, and slash Kaleigh. I wish I could find a picture of Kaleigh, but nonetheless, you guys, Kate is over there by the pool tanning, and Hunter gives her a call. And I love how Kate isn't a delusion of like, she feels like she's not these other women that Hunter is messing with, and that she really doesn't really play a part in the scamming that he got going on. But he calls to let her know that, he cut off all the other girls. And also too, Kate, I love how we're able to get over disagreements with each other. And we're just that type of couple where we can just let things go. We trust one another. And I'm like, bitch, no, you don't. Like, obviously can't trust him, because he lied to you about how many women he was entertaining and just how far he was going with them. So I like Kate. I think she is just delusional about the stakes of her relationship. But nonetheless, he lets her know that, I broke up with the girls, but one of them, she trying to get me, chopped and dopped. Okay, just she want me in here. What is it called? Fruit ninja. She want me sliced and diced. Okay, chopped. Okay, she want me out of here. And so now she paying some of the other cellmates money, putting money on their books if they'll take me out. And so she's like, yo, okay, it's giving stalker. It's giving, it needs to, be told to the authorities, because that's crazy. And he's like, oh, that's my problem, not yours. And she's like, well, you told me, so now it's my problem, And, Kate's just like, nobody needs to threaten my man. You need to understand, like, you are our sugar mama. Like, so if you are paying to get, your time entertained, what makes you think another woman's not paying for that? Like, really? And it's just kind of like, Kate, you really are not only one, delusional, two, insensitive, but just like, it's giving just bitchy, because at the end of the day, it's different. We'll talk about it, because we can just go ahead and get to the lawyer's office. So she goes to the lawyer's office and wants to get information on how to help Hunter after being threatened. And so she's like, can we get him out? But the thing is, he has some extra days because a woman exposed herself. And so when they went to go and check back on his other video visits, other women was exposing themselves too. And so he got like an extra 30 days on there, allegedly. And so the lawyer was kind of like, well, it's good that he's got, classes and a whole bunch of other, programs on his record. But the fact that infraction happened this year, that's not going to be a good look. And when it comes to these women, like, how is that happening? And she's like, well, I put him on the website, I put him on the, writer prisoner website. And these women basically are like his sugar mamas. And the lawyer was like, she's like, it's just like, like sugar babies, And the lawyer was like, ma'am, no, it's not. Because in that situation, everybody up front knows the terms of the contract. These women think they're in a relationship and they're getting scammed. And so, the lawyer was kind of like, I really need you to kind of think about it differently, because when we go to the judge and they start, digging in and kind of getting to the legalities of it, it's not gonna be a good look for you as well, because you'll be the person that really kind of like initiated it and know up front that these women are getting scammed. But Kate tries to justify it with, well, these women, what they do on their own, like I can't control them. Like if you're basically dumb enough to get scammed by a prisoner, and then you get what you get, is really kind of how Kate feels. And so the lawyer was kind of like, yeah, call these women dumb or whatever if you feel like they're not the smartest, but still, like, basically signing up your boyfriend to take advantage of that. Like, you play a part in that, Kate, and you think you're different just because, like, I mean, you know what, I do gotta rate the fact that in some way she's like, I want to date this dude, but I'm not going to be financially responsible for him. Like, I can't knock that hustle. Like, I really can't pimp him out, but also in a way understand the situation of like the honest truth. Like, at least be honest with yourself about what is happening. He's selling his other women a fairy tale, and so you're surprised that a woman is pissed off that maybe the time and money that she put into this dude, because you don't know how much time these women have been talking to other women. I mean, like, or like what he's telling these other women, obviously, to the extent of selling them a fairy tale, but like these women's feelings is gonna be hurt. So think about that. But yeah, the lawyer was just kind of like, we can try for it, but I ain't gonna lie, it's not gonna look good. Y'all, tell me why I looked at the bottom of the screen. It said 10 miles away. He got Kaleigh and Kate 10 miles away from each other. I tell you what, Hunter is he's trying to ride these two, because he told Kate that he got rid of them, but he couldn't get rid of Kaleigh for some reason. He trying to fuck. That's all that is, because they get freaky deaky on the camera. Kate don't do none of that. Okay, Kate's the responsible one. Is the girlfriend material, but unfortunately, Kaleigh gives jump off who you the freak of the week, and so he want to try to keep Kaleigh on the line, because when he get out, he can just bop over there between Kate and Kaleigh, finding out now that they damn 10 miles apart. So Kaleigh, she's almost willing to pay $15,000 to help him get his days off that they earned on there for their little explicit camera visits. And the lawyer was telling Kaleigh, like, I get it, but be careful of spending all this money on an inmate. But Kaleigh, a part of the fairy tale, is so in love. She feels like, oh, he's gonna get out and he's gonna bless me tenfold. And you could tell the lawyer just looking at her like, this dumb bitch, like, just dumb. And just we're like, 15,000, that's a lot of money, but I understand being in a relationship with him as my part of the relationship, the financial, understand my contribution to the relationship is finances. So it's something that I'm willing to do. And it's just like, ooh, Kaleigh, like, ooh, $15,000 for a nigga that's finna come out and just ruin your life. Like, he gonna dick you down, girl. Y'all gonna have some little freaky deaky sex, but you gonna be broke. The lawyer was just looking at her like, are you sure you want to do this? Because it's given, the other lawyer even said it's given career criminal. Like, both of the lawyers that both of these women were talking to were looking at them like they was just dumb. But that was the end of the episode, you guys. Y'all drop down in the comments and let me know what you feel about each couple, what you think about Hunter. Y'all feel like he gonna be able to balance Kate and Kaleigh? Do you guys feel like MJ's gonna go back to Ami? What do you guys feel about Donny? Is he telling Jakeema the full truth? I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I'll catch y'all hoes later.